Okay, I'll call this meeting. Thanks, Richard. Call our meeting to order. Monthly department head meeting. Reminder that we're taping this for the public, and that several people do comment that they actually watch these to get the news. So this is a good opportunity to say what's going on. It's also good that if you're saying something that, like you picking up the middle of a story, that you might recap the story for a sentence or two so the public knows if you're talking about something that we started talking about 6 months ago or something like that going on. So we're just going to go around the room. I'm tempted to start with Shelby because she looks the happiest this morning. Have you had your coffee?
Not enough.
Not enough? Okay. Well, then I'm going to Richard because he looks at least well coffeeed up. So, Richard, start us off. What's going on?
Well, we're finally getting caught back up. That cold snap that we had at the beginning of the year broke a lot of equipment. We had a lot of failures. So we're finally getting caught back up. Everything's back running again. So we're getting caught back up. So, and then our Title V permit for the air curtain burner is underway. Should have that in the next couple months. So we'll be all set and done with that. And
what will that do for us?
So the Title V is the actual operating permit. What we're operating under right now is the permit to construct. And so once we had everything constructed, we had 1 year from that point to get this Title V. And so that 1 year is up in, it's December 15th, I think, this year. So
Right.
We're lots of time to work with. So,
Good.
yeah, we're moving forward, looking pretty good. And we finally did get an applicant in for our open position. So next couple of weeks we'll have another driver.
That's got to help a little bit.
Oh, that's gonna help out a lot.
Because who's been doing all that driving, Richard?
Yeah, it's been there. We only have 3 drivers, so.
Oh, man.
So,
Yeah, short staff this on.
Yep.
What, Monday? And then have to do 2 runs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it'll be nice to get another driver in there.
Okay. That's encouraging. Have we interviewed yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We interviewed. We did the background check, all that good stuff, and he's putting in a couple weeks at his job now, and then once that's up, he'll come to work for us.
Excellent. Now she's smiling. We brought up a good topic. Yeah. Finally some help. Anything else?
I don't think that's about it.
Well, that's a good way to end it. Anything on your side?
Those stickers keep rolling out the door. We've been hitting them hard because a lot of, like when I have to work in the scout house, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you just let us go." I'm like, that's not how it works.
Stickers.
Yeah. So we've been hammering down on stickers. People who don't have their stickers have been going across the scale and paying for it. It's not free anymore. So.
Yeah. Neither is what we have to spend to go take care of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's all people have to figure out. So, okay.
That's about it for me.
Stickers.
Stickers.
What are these stickers for?
Well, if you're a Shoshone County solid waste resident who pays the solid waste on your taxes to us, then you get a free sticker to dump for free, except for like your construction.
So when anybody that goes up needs to have one of those stickers?
As long as you pay us the solid waste on your taxes.
I
yes.
do. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you get the sticker and go to the dump.
There's forms here.
Have a good
I'll
time.
just fill one out and put it in my box and I'll bring it up.
I like my stickers so much, sometimes I just circle, go back through a couple times, get my good out. What's happening? Fire mitigation is working because I haven't seen any problem.
It's working great.
It's working great. What do you got going on?
All the crews are off right now. I've been working on reimbursements. I should have 2 reimbursements done by Friday. And then I'm also working on grant proposals for 2025. They have to be in by the 15th of March, so.
Okay.
And then other than that, it's just talking to people on the phone and
But it's
meeting with people out in on their properties and trying to look at them when it's not snowing.
Well, we like the reimbursement process. We really appreciate
Well,
that.
if the process was working the way it should be working, it would be great, but it's not.
Okay. Well, do they understand when they give a grant that means they actually have to hand over the money?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just that the state has been so shorthanded with me, and then they hired some new people, so those new people are still doing their training.
Yeah. Kind of like blaming COVID for 6 years. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you're doing a good job on the fire part, though, because I haven't heard any fire calls in the mountains here in the last few weeks. So, does this mean she didn't come in, right? She's sick today.
Yes.
So, what's going on in your department that you'd like to share?
So Public Works, yesterday we had a pro-con meeting with the construction company, all the key players for the country club bridge going up to the golf course. So that project is going to start March 18th. So the road will be closed March 18th through April 10th. So people going to the golf course will have to go around Elizabeth Park on High Water Road and then go up. Which construction company, everybody's reaching out to make contact to the golf course and Idaho Strategic for the mill operations that they have going on there. We have that going on. We have a job opening in our District 3, which is Osborne, for a shop road supervisor. And then we have an opening in Marble Creek for a light equipment operator. So if anybody knows anybody with CDLs that wants to work for the county, send them our way.
Oh, they just found one.
I know they found one. I should still on.
It's against the rules.
Just Shelby's face.
It's against the rules. We won't be doing that. No.
I know. I was just joking. And right now, you guys are out doing winter maintenance, and depending on what season we have tomorrow will depend on if they're brushing or what they're doing. So, kind of goes with whatever it's doing outside.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's what we have going on.
Yeah, I passed a couple of them going up the river yesterday. They were wearing swim trunks, but they had their snowplow down.
Yeah.
So there's some confusion as to what season we're.
Yes, that we're in.
Okay. On the bridge at Country Club, and we are talking about the golf course on this end of the valley
Yes.
for our viewing public. Have you talked with the mine, with the mill?
Yes, we've talked to Grant and Breakfast yesterday.
Okay. All right. That go all right?
Yeah.
Good. Timmy, anything you'd like to report from your area?
I'm just here for observation meetings this morning.
That's what the government always says. Yeah.
See how quick I'm learning?
You're just really welcome to this government thing. Well, let's all welcome Peggy this morning, her first meeting in a while. Not her first meeting, but her first meeting. Do you have anything you'd like to share with us this morning, Madam Clerk?
There's nothing, but I will be sending out some things that I would like to have done prior to writing a check that I'm accumulating now
Okay.
for the different departments.
Okay.
So that it will make it a lot smoother for us. And these are some of the resolutions from commissioners that we have a guideline to go through. And I don't see it being followed through a lot of the departments. So.
Well, we need to streamline our paper process, and we need to keep good track of where our money is going. So, thank you.
Yeah, and Bill and I are friends.
Yeah,
And I learned something from him today because
several conversations.
I had some questions for him, and he answered a couple of them for the new people at the state of Idaho. So
Good.
that would hold up some of those reimbursements. That's good to know.
Good. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of nice people, Dan, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
You thought I was going to say Trish after I said that, yeah.
I thought you were actually going to go to me.
I have that done under super nice people.
I'll speak to emergency management stuff and let Trish speak to P&Z. I won't go into it, but
Under emergency management, I recently, last month, I was at the Idaho Office of Emergency Management Conference in Boise. And that was a pretty good conference, and we learned lots of stuff and heard from lots of people. And it was always nice to meet with all the other county emergency managers and get to learn what they can do and what we can do and those kind of things. I've been working on SHSP project, which is the grant that I manage for the state homeland security monies, and we have put together a number of projects with our committee. In particular, we've got two cycles worth of cybersecurity projects done for BJ, and those are all have been approved in procurement, so they're ready for those things to be purchased. And once they're purchased and installed, then they'll be reimbursed. We have some radio projects for the Osborne PD department, for the Mullen Fire Department, Mullen Volunteer Fire Department, and then we've been working with the fire chiefs on putting some extra effort into helping the Calder Avery Volunteer Fire Department folks and getting them more involved in our meetings and our process over here. And then we're starting to put together some projects for them on what kind of equipment can we help them purchase or procure. And they've kind of always been the little Lone Rangers down there, and they work a lot out of St. Mary's Fire Department, and so we've taken some extra effort to see what we can do to keep helping them and keep supplying them with some equipment. I'm also working on an AED, the defibrillator packs for the ambulance service district, so that they can outfit more of their units, and particularly the units that are out in those volunteer fire department areas like Richard Murray and Calder Avery and Mullen with those units. And then we're also looking at a special rescue container deal for what's it called? Stopes? Not stopes. The basket you haul somebody up.
Mm-hmm.
They're lost down a ravine or something like that. The special ones that can be craned up or dragged up the hillside and catch them. So we're working on that. A big deal I've got coming up at the beginning of March is northern 5 counties have got together to do a training with a group called I Love You Guys. It's a reunification workshop seminar for 2 days where they come in and teach us as a group on how to facilitate and put together a reunification plan for when an event happens and you evacuate people or kids out of the school. Where do they go and how do they do it, and what is the process for telling the parents, telling the loved ones, anybody else where your loved ones are and where they're at. So there's a whole process to that, and then the hopes with that was those that are going to that we'll come back with the training to put on our own workshop in Shoshone, and then we'll coordinate closer with the school districts are participating, fire folks are participating, and myself. So that'll be a good one to come back with and information on that. Other than that, we're going to keep plugging away. Next year's grants are going to come available in May, June usually. And so we usually start now trying to coax people into keep up with your projects, get them to me so we can get them built into that next year's grant and keep the cycle of money flowing.
And we appreciate the cycle of money flowing part. Yeah.
Not a lot, but it's something, and we make good use of it.
Yeah, but when one of our residents needs a AED or whatever that is, it's awful nice to know that there was one there. So, thank you, Trish. What's happening in the lower world, the underworld?
So we're quiet with building permits, as you know, with the winter season, so it's slowed down. But we are continuing to work through subdivisions and conditional use permit applications. Dan and I have been working through a couple ordinances that we've been bringing to you guys.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that helped. And then we're also working through, I've got 10 different code violations in the process. I'm working with residents to get those properties into compliance and trying to get that word out that, Shoshone County does require building permits, because that word is out there that people don't think they need building permits, and so we struggle with that quite a bit, but we're trying to crack down as best we can and get that squared away.
Okay.
It's a slow wheel, but we're working on it.
What's the temperature down there today in the basement?
It's a little cool, but it's not I'm not going to complain because it's a little cool up here. So.
Okay, she's my barometer. Yeah, I go by how far down she has her hat as to how cold it is in this. Sheriff, to our very, very special person next. Okay, Sheriff, I just wanted to give you the good
Thank
introduction.
you. I
All right.
appreciate that.
What's happening?
Well, I have a list of things here, and it's not in any particular order. I was just kind of putting stuff down. So one of our employees has or had a business where they make videos, documentaries, things like that. So we're going to utilize his specialty to make a recruitment video for our office for jail, detention, dispatch, that looks nice and flashy. So if we get into a situation where we need to hire more people, we'll have this really cool video that hopefully portrays that we're an awesome place to work. So that's kind of on the back burner there. Still working with grants, working with Colleen, trying to see what we can do to find money every which way we can. So we haven't had, the Sheriff's Office hasn't had a website since 2016, so I've been working on to try and get nothing fancy, just a website with all of our resources available that you can just go to, have some cool pictures, whatnot, working on that. We're working on putting together, I think we have everything we need to get it done. I just need to put it together, which is just a strategic plan for what we plan on doing for the next few years as far as like growth and development goes. I want to take that plan once it's done and, send it out to the community, put it on our website, anywhere that people want to access it, they can see what our plans are, what the timeline is, costs associated, things like that. And we'll have each department, so our front office staff, detention, dispatch patrol, everybody who's in charge of something was asked to go to their people and find out, like, what's your ideal office look like? What are some of the ideal things that we want to accomplish for the community? So everybody's had a say in where this is going, and so the final product will be a representation of the entire office. Also working on a year-end summary for our office, so I'm trying to put together a big old thing that I'm going to try and condense down, which is just a summary of what we accomplished this year. What kind of crime did we deal with? What occurred with, what was the end result of that crime? How many people did we hire? How many people did we lose? How many people graduated? Just like a overall picture of our office and what we went through in the past year. I want to put that on our website so it's just accessible for anybody who's interested in seeing that. Speaking of year-end summary, so every year I'm tasked with auditing or sending all of our crime statistics to the state of Idaho, where then they go through it, tell me I messed up a bunch of stuff, I fix it, and then they post it onto the ISP website. And so far, I just got the initial work done on that, and our clearance rate so far is 82%, which means that anytime we open up a case, investigate the case, and either make an arrest, close the case as unfounded, because sometimes people will report a crime that didn't occur, or if we forward it to the prosecutor's office for review for charges, we get kind of assigned a clearance for that case. And this year we're at 82.6% clearance rates, which means that the people across the street, the deputies, they're really doing well at closing cases and getting people.
Because, what's the state average on that? It's not.
It can go anywhere from 40 some percent to, I think in the 50s, I would say 50% is usually a typical. The state's really kind of hammered down on agencies getting these done appropriately, so the clearance rates are they're reflecting more of an accurate crime rate these days than it used to. But I mean, when I first started doing this, we were at a 37% clearance rate, and just in the past 2 years, we went up 25%. So, the state of Idaho is no longer going to provide us the equipment and driver's license to issue ID cards. So whenever we have a person who is a sworn, commissioned officer, we get them a special ID called a commission card. Well, the state of Idaho is no longer going to support, they're not going to support that. And so we have to come up with our own commission cards from here on out. So we'll have to buy an ID maker, essentially. So our office gets IDs, Dave Smith salesmen get IDs. I mean, they pay for them, but we provide the IDs. Certain entities in the county have IDs. I'm not sure which ones do that. But we're gonna have to find an alternative way to get that. So I've been kind of researching. Haven't put Colleen on it yet, but I'm gonna try and see if we can find grant funding to cover it. But it's a huge pain and it's coming up quickly. So I'm trying to figure out how to work around this. As far as like supervisory stuff goes, we're trying to send all of our supervisors get leadership training. It's just good for business, but it's also really good for liability purposes. So the FBI puts on a really great training course. It's a trilogy of courses. The FBI LEDA, it's top of the line training, and so we just sent 3 of our supervisors to it. Our goal is to get all of our supervisors to go through the FBI LEDA training. So that's kind of a priority. We solicited interest in a dispatch supervisor. So right now we have Casey Van Buskirk. He's the director of dispatch. So he's getting phone calls 24/7. When there's an issue, he's getting called. Like, he doesn't ever get a break from taking calls from being a supervisor of dispatch. So we're trying to find somebody to step up and kind of take a first line supervisor role. And part of that also is that if you're not training people to replace you, you're really making a big mistake down the road. So we're trying to find somebody who we can start training long term to take over for Casey. You know, he's getting closer to retirement. And anyway, so that's kind of, people are excited about that. I think anytime there's an opportunity to move up and accomplish more, people get excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a concealed weapons permit audit coming up in March. Not looking forward to that. But the ladies who do it are really nice. So
It's a trade-off.
yeah. With the crime stats, I'm also getting audited for that, so I'm working on that. I talked to my captain. I want to put on a drug enforcement town hall, trying to kind of talk about what our goal is for drug enforcement in the county and what are we struggling with the border crisis. How is that impacting our county? Because it is. and I want people to have an opportunity to ask questions and kind of find out what the border crisis and how that will impact our community. I don't know if anybody's looked up what's happened in Billings, Montana, or if anybody's looked up what happened, I think it's Blackfoot Reservation.
I read those.
The cartel took over those areas. They're taking over small areas, very similar to ours, because there's the opportunity is big, and it's just a huge problem. It scares me to death, so trying to get ahead of that. For our jail, we're trying to put together a special response team for riots, which seems kind of weird because we are a small facility, but I guarantee you, or I assure you, I've seen one in that facility. We have had a riot before. It is not fun. It is very unsafe. So we're trying to put together a team of people who are specially trained in how to respond to that. So these people will go above and beyond in training to learn how to keep the rest of the personnel safe. So that's just kind of on the burner right now. Our patrol team has started what they call the RAT team. They've made these very cool little patches with a rat on it, but it stands for Rapid Action Team. And this group of individuals, the testing to get into this team is it's pretty hard, the physical fitness and things like that, but the whole point of the team is to respond to high-risk situations that we've had in our county recently, last couple of years. So law enforcement in general has kind of gotten away from the SWAT team term. So they call it other things, but basically it's just a group of people who are really well-trained in responding to dangerous calls.
So now they're rats.
They're rats. Yeah, they kind of came up with it with tunnel rats, and I guess it's a war story. But, what else do I have here? Been working with the Mullen High School. They're trying to work on a school safety grant, so I'm trying to help them with that. Next week we go to Kellogg High School to do mock interviews with the junior class so they can learn how to interview in the real world. So I got to put my mean mug on for that. Try and make them a little uncomfortable. And then we have a job fair coming up that we're participating in at the Kellogg High School. I think that's next week. And I think that about sums it up.
Gosh, well, in your spare time, what are you doing?
Sleeping.
Okay. Okay, Colleen, that's a hard act to follow, but you're up.
It is. So through December and January, worked on several grants, submitted 4 separate grants and 1 rewrite. 2 of those 4 were awarded. Combined, they're about 90,000. One we know is 79 and change, and one, the assumption, because it was an evaluation, was about 10,000 for our energy audits for the buildings. So we'll be getting 90 windows. We'll get resealed and some thermal drapes put on all of those throughout the building. So that'll be awesome. 2 of them we have to wait on. One was the bus. Every 2 years there's a congressional appropriations for the continuation of the bus. That was one, I didn't pull the number. It was pushing about 200,000 that we're applying for that. And it'll come down to about 160 a year. And that's close to what it takes to operate that bus. And so, just kind of putting out there that it's a free public transit that we have here. Mm-hmm. And it's not just the fixed route, it's a paratransit. So people who qualify can have door pickup for the public transportation. And then the Coeur d'Alene routes that gets them over there, and it links them up with CityLink and other public transportation as well. So it's a pretty amazing asset that we have for free. So we're going to work on that to continue with that. The other was the grant for the balconies, and I found some potential alternative funding if we're not awarded that to get the balconies fixed. So putting out the good vibes in the universe for that. One of the rewrite was through USDA for the broadband technical assistance, and we applied for $80,000 to continue doing engineering and consultant work to make sure that our county is planned out for broadband technology and that everybody has some way to connect. And we were awarded $80,000 for that. So they came back, and even though they had me rewrite it, I just said, can't reduce it. Look at our county. Love us or don't. And so they loved us and gave us $80,000. So we'll keep working on that. The BEAD process is starting to make my head hurt a little bit because Idaho hasn't quite figured it out yet, but there's a meeting on the 4th that we'll see if they were approved through NTIA and kind of get some ideas. But our BEAD planning is no longer geopolitical. It's not going to be a county boundary or a census boundary. Don't know what it looks like. I've heard anywhere from 50 to 400 project areas for this $283 million. So Shoshone County is going to get split. Who we get paired with, I don't know. So I'm continuing to keep up those regional partnerships so that we're ready to hit the ground when it does come out. Still trying to find some ISPs who are willing. I've got one that he's a shoestring, but he's trying to make it work in one way or another. So hopefully we'll get him up here pretty quick to do some boots on the ground work. Working with 3 grants have risen to the top for working with the sheriff's office for detention and for personnel and for some initiatives over there. So we'll keep working through those. Working on a GEM grant for an internal project. We'll see if we can get that one funded, and the RCIF for the Idaho Resource Jersey now. So that we've had a couple meetings on that, and I think we're going to go ahead and try and get that in for this one, even though it's short term, but it's a opportune time to go for it. Let's see, increase in the bus funding. Got an email from the Area on Aging. It looks like they're going to increase that, so they asked us how much we need, and I said, about $1,200 a month more, and they said, okay. So fingers crossed we get that one in. This next month I'm gearing up for all of the quarterly and annual reports that are due on the multiples that are out there. By the end of March I'll have all of the funds reviewed and kind of know where we are sitting on, hard dollars on what's left in those, because projects will either be completed or I'll know where they are in the progress. Continuing my education, so I had received that $1,200 scholarship from NIGP, which is the National Procurement Professionals, and they liked it, so they gave me an additional $276. So I have 3 courses that hopefully will make me a little better at my job.
Right.
Now, how do I answer that? Yes, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Or no, good job.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Chairman, let me know when the 10 box starts.
It's at 10:30. That's when it starts, at 10:30. Okay. Anything else? Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. That was kind of the big things, and
Yeah, that's a lot of big things.
keep poking at it.
And if, this county is gasping for air, so all those grants add up and keep us with police cars and everything else that we need to keep this county functioning. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Now, Mr. 2 weeks notice.
I did not. I told you, like I told Jeff, I'm in for the long haul.
Okay.
I'll be crawling out of here, so I'm giving you notice. Sorry about
Open
that.
my email this morning and I get 2 weeks. That's all up from him.
2
I'll get
weeks.
Dave like, do you know anything? Start to panic. The rest of
So-
the email didn't come through, but it wasn't his
Shy
2
on
weeks.
computers
We are-
sometimes.
We are losing one of our cleaning
Yes,
people.
Dee gave notice last night, so we're gonna need to replace her within, or try to find somebody in the next couple of weeks. So, I have got 2 leads on. Tracy said she had somebody, and then we have somebody else that's potentially we're gonna do. I'm gonna call later and see if they're gonna be interested in it or if they're just fishing.
And we'll need to advertise
Yeah.
for the
Internal
position.
first, yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, the office project on the 3rd floor is starting to wrap up finally.
What's left?
We got the carpet all laid in last week. I'm putting the furniture together right now. It showed up. Tracy put an order in and it was here the next day, so it showed up quick.
Yeah.
I got a couple of cabinets I'm building and a few other things. So within the next week or two, it should be done. BJ said he is going to be in there towards the end of this week or next. So as soon as I get the desk put together where he can get everything wired, then they can move in. But he told me it'd be a week or so before he's going to have any time to do it. We got the floor cleaning guys were here last week for 3 days. So they did the entrance and the stairs coming up into the main corridor, and they cleaned the bathrooms. They went ahead and fixed the tiles that were downstairs that had been broke for a while. They said they would take care of it if I had the tiles, which I did, so they took care of that while they were here. My next project was going to be to get some better drawings together, some more detailed drawings together for your commissioner offices, so we can get that in the works. And then as soon as I get done with that 3rd floor, I'll be into the second, taking care of that painting and getting that conference room all cleaned up and squared away. So I've got that on my list. I met with Gary this morning, and he's said our walkthrough is in the engineering review right now. They're reviewing all the power bills and stuff that we gave them, that big stack of
Right, okay.
that they picked up last week. So he said it's in the works. As soon as they get through all that, they'll give us a call to actually do a walkthrough. And he said one of you would want to be with her. I guess in our meeting, you requested to have one of the commissioners on the walkthrough. So he said he'd make sure you were there. He also said that he had a plumbing proposal for the jail put out, but he hasn't heard anything about it. So he was just curious if
You know
that's
anything
something
about
that
that?
needed to be.
Who would that have gone to?
Captain Lopez.
Captain Lopez. Okay.
And then he also asked me to ask you about the maintenance on the chiller and the new heating unit. He said that they've got a proposal out for that too, and they'd like to get it wrapped up.
Who did they send this proposal to?
Okay, well, I'll call and tell them that
Yeah.
you guys haven't received anything yet. So
Yeah.
could be, this guy told him that it's out there and it hasn't got to you yet, so I'll follow up.
Sydney, have you seen anything? Okay.
Okay, because he'd
If
like,
Sydney hasn't seen it. It doesn't exist.
because he said he'd like to get some kind of a maintenance going on the coolers and the air handlers and the heating system and stuff here before they get too much older.
Do we have a maintenance contract already?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't heard anything from NCI. I know BJ talked to me a couple of weeks ago about the new computer controls for the heating and air system. They're supposed to be updating it, putting it on my computer and another separate computer that's going to be accessible from their office or whatever, but it's not happened yet. So we're still using the old system, which
Okay.
at the moment Max is the only one who knows how to get on it besides Tom from NCSI. So
Is he willing to show you?
Yeah, it's pretty simple, and right now the best thing we got going is we just set it and left it alone. So to get the maximum out of everything, it's just we've got it set where she needs to be. So
Okay.
other than that, that's and I got the George came by and he fixed the ramp, the heater on the ramp, but I've noticed there's 2 sections that are still not working on it, so I'll have to get him back over and look at that. He said the wiring's getting a little dicey on it. They may have to.
That should make walking on the ramp even quicker.
Yeah, it's a little dicey on that. I have got here soon enough. There's been no issues of people getting hurt or sliding on it. So.
Okay.
What proposal did you say you were waiting on for the plumbing?
He said that he put a plumbing proposal out for something that's around $1,500. Oh, basement flood to check out the basement flooding. That's what it was. They wanted to set some cameras and do some physical evaluations or something to see if they can help with the flooding you've been having an issue with over there.
So it may be like ours. It may be and didn't make it over here, but
yeah,
Captain Lopez would probably know. So okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
It's pretty good for a guy with 2 weeks left. Okay. Sydney. Nobody ever calls on you, Sydney. Well, Sydney, you're having a new family member. Does everybody know that? Yeah. She's when are we expecting?
June 12th.
June the 12th.
Right.
So we are going to have to get by without her for a little while, but not permanently, just briefly. So I think we have a meeting at 10:30 to discuss how we're going to survive without Sydney. It should be we're all wearing black. So, Commissioner?
Nothing this go around. I've been busy with personal stuff, but getting head back in the game. So.
Well, I'll end this on a cheerful note. You all know that we spent grant money, not grant money, lettuce money. We spent federal money, and we did some trimming and cutting last year to get through the year. The county still, I think, and Peggy's here to help us figure this out more, but it would appear that we still are spending more than we bring in. So we can expect, we have to balance that budget that's coming up. And rather than waiting until the budget time to go, oh, surprise, I'd rather be thinking about how we're going to cut, because there's no way we can keep spending more than we take in. That's not legal or law. It wouldn't work at your house or my house. It's not going to be pretty. It's a large amount. Previous folks that aren't here today have created some spending. Some of it's for good stuff. It looks to me like some of it went to pay raises and increases and things. So it's not like it was all bad stuff, but we've committed, just like any of us, if we went out and bought a new truck, which is about $2 million now. It's about what I think a new pickup costs now. But if we went out and bought a new truck that we couldn't afford the payments on, that's just kind of where we are. So we all need to be keeping, I don't want to be down about it. It's just we've got to solve it. It's not like Peggy. I heard Peggy say once here a while back, it's not the first time the county's been broke. And it won't be the last, but it should be the last for the next few years.
You have to remember, we're in a 3% box.
We are a poor county. We are, we're going to have to tighten. And I'm going to be doing a series of newspaper articles just to kind of let the public know, because people have a tendency in every county in America to complain about property tax, but they also complain when you cut services. And we all know what would happen if you cut services. Our county's not providing a whole lot of luxury items right now. We're trying to keep criminals off the street and keep the cartel from taking over. We're trying to, and that's figuratively right now, but it's a reality for some counties where we're trying to put away the trash. We're trying to keep the county from burning down. We're trying, we're doing all necessary things, and so I will say to end this, that in addition to thinking through that cuts aren't going to be fun, but be thinking, and don't wait until budget time to be thinking about, is there anything I could do in my department to raise income? Other than property tax. because that's our problem. We're choking the poor taxpayer, and the message we're having to give them right now is you're going to have to pay more taxes, and we're still cutting services, and that's just a terrible message. So we're looking for more income, and so the grants are one avenue, but in going after folks for building permits and things, we're looking for every source of income. The county commissioners have been leasing out some land for commercial purposes. We've brought in several $1,000s this year on leases. You'll see out by the septic treatment center down there by Kellogg that there's a bunch of porta potties moving now that we took some land that's never been used and put it to lease. That was several $1,000s a year more for the county. We've released some land up Government Gulch by the future sand shed, that area that's being cleaned up and turned into it always was a recycling wrecking yard facility, but it's been cleaned up and turned into a little bit more than that. So we're looking.
Yeah, that's K&P Salvage.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, and he came to see me about talking to you guys about how he can help the county.
He took a boat out of my driveway that my son dumped at my house.
Well, one thing I think, and I want to share with the sheriff later, is he's setting himself up so that he could come and tow away a car that nobody wants anymore and crush it and make it go away. And legally, he can do a lot of the title things and things that might give us an option to. Not that Shoshone County has an abundance of broken down cars, but
We could have some blight problems.
but yeah. So we have a challenge ahead of us. Rather than pouting about it, we're just going to have to dig in and look for new sources of income. And at the same time, on the other hand, we're going to have to figure out how we're going to spend less. And my plea to you would be to try to find the ways that will impact the least number of citizens possible so that we're, but we can't just keep raising taxes. We are raising taxes. That's not going to cover it. The county has overcommitted. We have that audit. Jeff's not here to address that, but we're still waiting on the final results. But I've seen enough and I've talked with Peggy and others to know that audit or no audit, we spend more than we bring in. And we've got to balance that just like any household. So I just want to keep our attitude towards this. This is a challenge. It's not going to be fun, but we don't have to make it, go back to our employees with, county's been broke before. We'll get through this, but we are going to have to be stern, and we're going to have to take some tough decisions in all departments. And none of you are doing anything that's not important. That's the problem. I mean, it'd be easy if we had a couple of fluff departments, but I served as county commissioner 34 years ago, and we didn't have any fluff then, but I can remember when the road department was twice the size it is now, and the sheriff's department. I mean, we had even more resources then, and nobody thought we could get by with less, and obviously now today we do get by. So just want to keep that in mind. It wouldn't be very good leadership if we didn't talk about the truth and look for solutions. I would offer you a bonus if you can come up with solutions. I will give you an extra 2 weeks, whatever we got to do.
Never gonna live that down.
Solutions. All right. With that, we are adjourned so that